Thank you, Chairman Carter, for holding this important hearing on the Environmental Protection Agency's fiscal year 2025 budget. I want to thank Administrator Reagan for testifying in front of the subcommittee. Thank you for being here today. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Unfortunately, during the past 3 years, we've seen some burdensome regulations coming out of the EPA that harm innovation, manufacturing, increase energy prices for Americans across the country. We've talked about those already. I have a lot to get through here, so I'm going to have to jump right in. Many of our farmers in my district are worried they soon may also not be able to use the crop protection products they rely on. Dicamba and acephate, two important pesticides for cotton growers especially, are currently at risk of disappearing. In the case of dicamba, a federal court ruling earlier this year vacated the current label. Bayer, a major dicamba pesticide manufacturer, has developed a new label, and I expect that other companies will follow suit. I want to encourage you to expedite these new labels through the process. In the case of acephate, not the courts, but your agency has begun the process of banning this pesticide. We can't expect our farmers to continue to operate if we strip them of the critical tools at this time. The yields that they are providing are unprecedented, and if we restrict those yields, we're going to run out of food, sir. I hope that the EPA understands how critical these pesticides are and will work with our farmers on this, and I would suggest that you get out there in the fields and talk with them about it and how we're using it in Georgia safely. Next, I'd like to move on to the Clean Power Plan 2.0 rule, which will essentially shut down reliable generation. The electric cooperatives in my district provide electricity in some of Georgia's lowest income and most disadvantaged communities, which is a hallmark of electric cooperatives across the United States that collectively serve 92% of the country's persistent poverty counties. Personally, I think ensuring energy affordability is one of the most important things I can work on in Congress, particularly for my rural constituents in the district. Administrator Reagan, do you think it's fair to ask the rural energy consumers of the 12th District to foot the bill for the nicer carbon capture technology that is required in this rule?
Well, no, we're not asking the rural electric cooperatives to do that.
My understanding is that no carbon capture system required by the power plant rule has achieved the performance specifications demanded. Is that yes or no?
I answered that question inaccurately earlier. The answer is yes. Petronova in Texas has achieved that 90%.
Okay. Next, I'd like to talk about the particulate matter PM 2.5 rule that EPA finalized this year. I believe this rule is disastrous for manufacturing, especially in my home state of Georgia, which is consistently the top state to do business in. That is why I introduced the CAR rule for this. I'd like to clarify, you said your modeling says that 90% of counties will be in attainment under the new PM standards. Chair Carter's point is that 90% of counties will not have the room or headspace to permit new manufacturing. This is a problem. Georgia is also the #1 forestry state in the country, providing high-paying and stable jobs for many of my constituents. Controlling wildfire risks through prescribed burns is essential for the health of forests and safety of nearby communities. According to the Georgia Environmental Protection Division, from 2019 to 2021, there were 37 exceedances of the daily particulate matter standard attributable to exceptional events. 25 of those were because of prescribed burns. Unfortunately, exceptional event demonstrations have typically been restricted to events that spike PM 2.5 concentrations above 35 micrograms. I'm afraid that because of the lowered standards, with no changes to exceptional events threshold, land managers and states are being dissuaded from using prescribed burns to manage wildfire risk. Why did the EPA tighten the PM 2.5 standard without addressing the threshold for exceptional event demonstrations?
We absolutely addressed the exceptional events. We engaged with all of our forest managers across the country.
So you have
when you look at wildfires,
you have addressed those?
Exceptional events, yes, that data that hits those monitors is not contributing to any kind of exceedances.
Continuing with the PM 2.5 and exceptional event demonstrations, I'm concerned that even when states can submit demonstrations, the agency is not addressing them in a timely manner. Is that true?
No, I think we are very responsive, and if there are some cases that you can point to, I would be glad to look into those.
Okay, we will do that. Last year, the GAO published a report showing the EPA is falling behind with a growing number of submissions being on hold or under review. The President's budget request does not address exceptional events and any of its air quality. Is processing exceptional events a priority for the EPA given its crucial role in preventing areas from slipping into non-attainment?
It is.
Okay, well, I am out of time. Thank you, Mr. Administrator, and I yield back.